am feeling so overwhelmed by my stuff. I have so much stuff. Watched my last video, you know that we tore down our barn. So everything that was in the barn had to come out. And where did we put it? Some of it went to the garage. Some of it went under these tarps. I have a whole discussion about tarps. Why are they blue? The idea behind tarps is two things. One, to protect what's under them. And two, to hide what's under them. But all I see is big blue tarps. It looks like my house is a dump because everything is covered in blue tarps. So what's under here? Well, this is mostly stuff that if it did get wet, it wouldn't matter. I'll show you a little flashback of a pile I made. I called a bunch of dealer friends of mine, antique dealers, to come rummage through it. They did. I put some stuff on Facebook and it has sold, some of it hasn't. Threw some of it away, took some of it to Goodwill. But that space is here. So here's a flashback of what this area looked like. I guess that's stuff he doesn't quite know what to do with yet. So then there's this other pile. Okay. This one here is our lawnmower. See, that's what tarps should look like. Camo tarps. So I'm going to go buy a couple more camo tarps. I don't really like buying stuff to organize and hide things, but in this case I think I need some camo tarps. Losing our barn, which had a lot of storage in it, left us with a few issues. What to save, what to get rid of, where to get rid of it, and what to keep and where to keep it. My Etsy shop stuff is in what used to be my bay of the garage. Believe it or not, it's pretty organized. Plastic bins labeled, like things put together, but it's just, you know, I've got one bin on top of another on top of another. If I sell something in the bottom bin, I've got to take the top two bins off to get to it. And then some of the stuff we took out to a burn pile. Like I said, we live out in the country and so we can burn stuff. So as you can see, there's two cars in the driveway, which means they're not in the garage because those two bays of the garage have stuff in them. I'm just feeling overwhelmed. You know, everything you own has to be stored, cleaned, moved, or in some way maintained. Everything you own. And sometimes I just feel that really strongly, and I just start to feel overwhelmed. And right now, that's part of it. But we are going to build a new barn, but it's probably going to be about 2 months. It's going to go right there, behind where you see those plants. The new barn will be bigger. You're like, well, you're overwhelmed by stuff. Why are you making a new barn? Hubby and I both have a lot of hobbies, and we also tend to make money at our hobbies. And we've actually made a pretty decent living off of his hobbies. But all those things need space. I'd rather use my house and the property that I have to store that stuff, because whenever you move off site, you know, then you're paying extra, you know, you're paying fees. That's just, to me, that's just money down the toilets. But right now we've lost our main storage building, and so everything's just piled up around the house, and it's driving me nuts because I am a very neat person. A place for everything in its place. Whenever I get like I'm overwhelmed by my stuff, I try to go from room to room of my home where I live and say, okay, is there something in this room I can put on my Etsy store or put on Facebook or take to Goodwill and get rid of? That I'm over it, I'm done with it, and it's just cluttering up my life. And there's several types of like decluttering systems, and one of them is if it's not beautiful, if you don't love it, and if it doesn't bring you joy, don't keep it. Sometimes we don't get rid of things because we feel guilty, and so we're just hanging on to it out of guilt. So one of the things you can do is you can say thank you to the item, and there's the whole cleaning methodology behind this. Thank you for your service. You taught me something. When I buy next time, I need to pay attention to the way it fits, thank it for its service, and move it out. Let somebody else get some joy out of it. And I do that a lot because I'm sort of a OCD kind of organized person. It doesn't take much for me to get frustrated with the secret places in the house, the cabinets and the closets and stuff like that, because I keep the house pretty tidy, but it's all those drawers and cabinets and closets, and they get full of stuff. And I actually like to have empty space. I actually have a whole bank of cabinets in my house that have nothing in them, and I just feel like that's a victory. I don't have to fill every space in my house. I went through my whole house one year and my attic and everything, and I got rid of a ton of stuff. I still feel like I have too much stuff, and part of that is just a phase. You know, I do this every once in a while, and part of it is the fact that we lost a big storage building, our barn, so all this stuff is visible and I can see it every day. I'm passing these stupid blue tarps. I'm in business. I need to realize this is my inventory. You know, not to look at it as clutter, but to look at it as inventory. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to vent about how I'm feeling about being overwhelmed by my stuff. Blah, blah, blah. You've seen different backgrounds. This has just sort of been a little outdoor tour of my house. We started in a pretty junky area, and I'm finishing up in one of my favorite areas. I feel better after venting. I'm going to go get me some camo tarps. See you next time.